right? And now let's go to another object in Python, which is called list. List is similar to the there are three type of you see there are three type of what you can say data arrangement. One will be your scalar, that is called a scalar. Okay, scalar is zero dimension. Let's say we have value 2, we have value 13, we have value minus 42, minus 43, right? So if we have only one digit involved, that is called a scalar value, right? Now after that we have another representation which is called vector. Vector has one dimension. So you visualize we have a one dimension array, right? So either my matrix is a column matrix or my matrix is a row matrix. If we have only one direction in on that, either as a horizontal or vertical direction, that is called vector. And then there is third category which is called matrix. We all know what is the matrix, right? Matrix is a two dimension array. So it is also an array, right? So you see that scalar array with one element, right? Vector array with there is an array, right? And the representation is of two direction, either vertical or the horizontal direction. And there is a matrix which is called two dimension array. So how we can represent matrix, that we'll see later on. But that list is nothing but the vector. And you must have gone through the concept of array where we have one dimension. That particular array will be replaced by the list in Python. Okay. So list is another type of object. And in the list, there is a good thing here is in the list, we can put anything. We can put either the combination of integer, then a string, then float, then character. So any combination we can put here, or boolean, right? So that's why the list is not like when we create the array, we create, let's say, integer array or float array or array of a string or array of characters, right? But here in the list there is no restriction. So in the list we can put combination of different objects, and it will become one object as list. Okay. So let's go into the detail of the list. That earlier when discussed string, we introduced the concept of sequence in Python. List can be through the most general version of sequence in Python. So you can see that list is also called a sequence, where we can write the sequence of data. Unlike a string, they are mutable. Like a string, when we create the string, we cannot mutate it, right? We cannot replace any character with another character. That is called immutation. We cannot mutate it. But here in the list, we can mutate, meaning the element inside the list can be changed. So it is a mutable object, you can say, right? So list is a mutable object, which is also called a sequence in Python. So here, what we are going to learn is we are going to learn that how we'll create the list. Second thing, we'll see indexing and slicing in the list. Like in the string also, we have seen how we can do indexing and how we can do slicing. So the same thing we'll see in the list also. Basic list method we'll see. We have different methods. Like in the string, we have seen three methods like upper, lower, and split method. Here also we'll see some sort of methods. Nested list, how we can create a list inside another list, and we'll introduce the list comprehension that we'll see. List could be constructed with a square bracket. So if we'll create any object with a square bracket, that will be considered as list. We doesn't have to define it, whether it is a list or not. Like this. Let's say this is an example. Like this. We have three elements in the list, and we have we made the sequence of three elements with the help of square bracket. And this square bracket is nothing but list. that I have just highlighted, right? So here 1, 2, 3 is a sequence which is a one dimension, which is a vector, right? So it is a horizontal, or you can say the row matrix, or the uh, row matrix means we have only one row in the matrix, like that. So, or this is an array, right? So here we use the square bracket, and square bracket is used for the list, and this list we have saved in a variable. This is a list variable, right? This is a list variable. So when we do that, when we assign the list to a variable, that variable will become a list variable, and whenever we want to print what is inside the list, we just write the name, or we'll say print, my list, right? That is also can be done. So it is going to print what is inside the list, and it will print in a list form. See, square bracket, I can understand that this is a list, or you can find it out the type of it, right? You can find the type of my list. See, what is the type? Type is list, right? So this type object you will use frequently. So frequently you have to use this type object. Okay, let's go to different object and we'll put together and make one list. Okay, so here you see in the list, this is a list, right? Because it is inside the square bracket. Here, this is a string that we know. This is how we can represent a string. This is an integer. This is a float number, or float value. This is one character, and this is another type of object which is called Boolean object, where we can write true or false. So all these objects together become a list. So as I told you, in the list we can put different type of objects inside it, different type of values inside it, right? So now my list is again a list. When we print it, this is inside it. Now, with the help of len function, we can find it out what is the length of the list. So with the help of len function, we can find out what is the length of the list, means how many elements are there inside the list. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements inside the list. So the answer is 5. Just run it. Okay, let's go for the slicing and indexing. Indexing means with the help of index, how we can get the data. Now here, indexing will be done same as your array. Like how it will start with 0, right? So here also it will start with 0. Let's go for the indexing first. Let's say this is a list. This is a list where we have the combination of string and integer values. Here, how many values are there? Here we have 5 values are there. Means the length of the my list will be 5. Now, when we want to find out the 0th location, what is in the 0th location? So the answer is 1. O and E will be in a, this is a string which is in a 0th location. This is a type of slicing we can do. Now this colon, we have used the colon in the string also. Here also we can use the colon, that my list 1 colon, and then after that is nothing. What is the meaning of 1? Means the slicing will be starting from first element. First element means this is 0th element. This is the 0th element. This is the first element. This is the second element. This is the third element, and this is the fourth element, right? So it will start with the first element, that is 2, and go up to the last, because we haven't defined anything after that column. If we'll define some value, then it will go. Let's say if we'll define 3. So from first to 3, 3 minus 1 it will go. It will not go to the 3. So first element means 2, and then second element means 3, and the third element it will not go. It will go up to second element. This is how it works. So what it is going to print? It will going to print 2 and 3. That's all. See, it is printing 2 and 3. So this is how your slicing work, right? So if will not put anything, it means it will take 1 up to the last, right? If we'll put 0, so it will take 0 to the last, means 1 will also come here. See, 1 is also coming here, right? And if it is, we are saying 2, so it will start with the second. What is the second indexing value? So here it is 0 indexing value, this is first indexing value, and this is second indexing. So from 3 it will start, it will go up to the 5. So 3, 4, 5 will be your answer. So let's do that. Let's run it. Yeah, so 3, 4 and 5 is your what element that will be coming out. Now here there's another type of thing, like if will not put anything means in the left side, it will not put anything means it will go from the beginning. In the right, if will not put anything means it will go up to the last. Getting it? So if you're not putting anything, it will start with the 0 and go up to this element -1. Means this is a third element, it will go up to the second element. It will not go to third element, right? So it will start with 0, go to the second element. So where is the value we have? It will start with 0, means it will print 1, then first element, and then second element. It is not going to print the third indexing element. Getting it? It will not going to print 4. It will go to print 1, 2, and 3. Why? Because it is starting from 0 and end with 3 minus 1. Always remember that. So that's why the value is 1, 2, and 3, not 4 and 5. If I'll do here 4, then what will happen? So one more value is going to print, which is in your this one, right? Now you understood that, but what about indexing? If I'll do, let's say if I'll do my list 4, so what it is going to print? My list 4, what it is going to print? It is called indexing. It is not slicing, right? Because we haven't used a colon. If we'll use colon, it will be slicing. If I'll do my list 4, it is going to put the fourth indexing value. So what is the fourth indexing value here? This is the 0th indexing, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the fourth indexing value. So it is going to print 5. See, it is going to print 5. This is an indexing. This is the slicing. In the slicing, the right side part will be, if you will not put anything, it will go to the last. If you put anything, it will go up to -1 of it. Okay. Some more thing we can do here is, okay. So let's say I want to make a reverse of it, and I have to print from -1. So what will happen? Let's see what is going to happen. See what is going to happen. It is going to print from 0 and up to the last -1. This is the last index. -1 is the last index, right? And it will go up to -1 of that. Yeah, it's starting with the very last and it is going up to the last. So it is starting with 5 and it is going up to the 5, right? 5 minus 1. So it is printing like that. Okay. Let's do -3 up to the last. So what is a -3 indexing? Let's go for it. This is -1, -2, -3. So it will start with the 3 and print up to the 5, right? So 3, 4, 5 will be the answer. Let's do that. 3, 4, 5 will be your value. Okay. Let's do. So I think you get it. Means from previous value we can go up to. So this is how we can print the first value, and here how we can get the last value. So if I'm doing like this, I'm not putting anything, means it is going to print all. So it is starting with the beginning and going up to the end. Now let's see how this plus is going to work. This plus will go to concatenate into the actual list. Let's see how it will be done. We can also use plus to concatenate list, just like we did for the string. So in the string also that concatenation work. Here also with the list also we can do the concatenation. So my list is there, which is having the value 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I'll do new item and I want to add it, I'll just use plus. But we have to remember that I am using the square bracket. Without a square bracket, it's not going to work. So just remember, if you want to add, you add with the square bracket. If you use as a string, let's see what will happen. See, there is an error. So we have to use the square bracket so that the interpreter can understand that this is a list and I am adding the list into the list. So it will be automatically added. And when you want to print the this does not actually change the origin. Okay. So if you want to change into the original one, so what you have to do, you have to assign it to again. So you have to reassign it. Once you do that, then it is going to reflect here. Getting it? Because we have just added it, it doesn't mean that the value will be assigned or the original is going to change. Original is going to change when you do reassignment. So here we have done reassignment. My list was already there. We have added one more item to my list, and then we have put it into the my list. Then only it is going to reflect. So I think that thing is okay. So the same thing it is saying, we have to reassign it for that. So I'll just make it okay. So if you want to add it, you have to reassign it. That is the thing that we have just seen. Now let's see if we are multiplying with the scalar value, then what will happen? So, okay, this particular thing we haven't added, so it will not come. It will come up to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Into 3 means all the thing will be 3 times it is going to print, right? 3 times it is going to print. So it is printing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 times it is going to print. Again, this is not going to assign into the original one. Original is 1 time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It is not 3 times. If you want to make it reflect into the permanently, you have to reassign it again. You have to write my list, right? So that you have to do to reflect all this thing into the original one. Otherwise, I think this is going to be the output. Now let's see some of the methods that will be used in the list. If you are familiar with another programming language, you might start to draw parallels between array in another language and list in Python, right? So the similarity between array and Python, I told you, like it looked like that, but it is not exactly like that. List in Python, however, trend to more flexible than array in other language for two good reason. They have not fixed size, meaning we doesn't have to specify how big the list will be. So the first thing is that, like in array, we have the maximum memory location. Like when we create an array, let's say I am creating an array x. So what I have to do, I have to write int x, and then in bracket I have to define some values on it. That particular thing is not here, because based on the data, the size will be decided, and we can add the data on that particular list. So here size is not fixed. Second thing is they have no fixed type constraint, means we can change the type. We can put different values or different object into the list. We doesn't have to, like when we have define the integer array, we have to put the integer value. When we define the character array, we have to put the character value. But here there is not like that. Okay. So let's assume that we have a list 1 which is having the value 1, 2, 3. Then we have a method called append. This append method will actually add whatever you want to add into the list. Plus is just doing the output concatenation. But here the append method is going to append the value into the original list. That is the difference between plus and append. So this is list1.append. Append me is a thing that you want to append in list 1. So when we do that, the list 1 will be appended with another value or another string. This is how it happens. Then we have another method called pop method. Pop, what pop will do? Pop, so pop is going to delete something, right? Delete or take off the item from the particular list. So let's say we have a list of 1, 2, 3. When we print, so when we print the list, let's say we are printing the list here. So my list is 1, 2, 3, right? Let's say after that I want to put some pop operation. Let's add one more. Now, if I'll do list1.pop 0, so what it is going to pop? It is going to pop the 0th location value. So what is in the 0th location value? 1 is in the 0th location value. So it is going to pop, right? And again, if I want to see what is there in the list 1, so it will be 2 value. So pop is going to delete the value which we have specified. So let's say if I'll specify 1, then what will happen? Let's go for again. Let's say if I'll pop 1, then what will happen? What is in the first location? This is in the 0th location. This is in the first location. So 2 will be popped out. Now what is the list right now after getting 2 out? So we have 2 and 3 is in the list. No, sorry, 1 and 2 in the list. 2 has been popped out. Getting it? So this pop is another method. So what are the two methods we have seen till now? The first method is append method. Append is add into the last some any value, whether it is a string or integer or float or boolean, any type of value it is going to append at very last. Because append means it will go to the last and append it and add it. Pop means we have to give some sort of locations. If we are giving the location, let's say if we will not give any location, then what will happen? Let's see this. So it is going to pop the last one, which is in the last one. Like when we make a stack, so what will happen is we have the number 1, 2, 3. So we'll put 1 at the bottom, 2 and 3 at the very top, right? So because top value is 3, so pop is going to, by default, it will take the top value. So here, what is in the top value? 3 is in the top value, which is this location, right? So 3 is in the top value, so 3 is going to be out. Getting it? So if you'll not put anything here, means the top value is going to pop like your stack. So in the stack also, that the same thing will happen. Okay. So I think you understood what is the meaning of pop and what is the meaning of append. Assign the popped element remember default popped index is -1. So default pop index is -1 means the last location of your list is the default one. So if I'm not writing anything, it means it will go to up to the top portion of that. So top portion means the last value. Okay, let's go here and again. So we have a list 1, 2, 3. When I do popped item equal to list1 dot pop, so it is going to pop the last one, which is 3, and 3 will be saved here, right? Getting it? So 3 will be saved here, and the popped item is 3 because I haven't put anything. Okay, let's print it. So what is going to pop? Only 3 has been popped, so 2, 1 and 2 has been left. So the remaining portion has been showing here. It should also be noted that the list indexing will return an error if there is no element at that index. Let's say in the index we know that we have the value in 0 location and in first location. So if I want to print the 0th location, I can print it, like, so it is going to print 1. If I want to print first location, it is going to print 2. But if I am going to print the third location or the second location, what is in the second location? There is only 0 and 1. There is no second indexing. So it is going to give you error because you are looking for the value which is not there. So it is going to give you an error. So it is better, it is a good practice, you get the length of it first. How you will find out the length of any sequence? So len is for that. You find the length of it, and then you find that there are 2 elements only. So you have to go for either 0 or 1 as an index. So in that way, you will not get any error. So first you go for the len, and then only you can find it out that what is in the list. Okay. So as I told you, the third location and the second location, there is nothing. So it is going to give you error. We can use the sort method, and the reverse method is also affect your list. So we have 2 more methods, sort method and reverse method. So we can do sorting, we can make it a reverse order. Let's say we have a list, and this is the list. And in this list, we have some characters, A, E, X, B, C, right? This is a new list that we have made. Now let's go for the first method, which is called reverse method. What reverse method will do is, it will make a reverse of it. So C will come in the 0th location, B will come in the first location, X will come in the second location, then E will come in the third, and A will come in the fourth location. So in that way, the whole value will be reversed, and it will reflect in the list also. So all the method that we have seen, it is going to change the list because it is a list method. It is going to change the list only. So the reverse is going to reverse the element what we have entered here. So you do that, and this is the value that you'll get, C, B, X, E, A. Now let's go for the sorting, how this sorting is going to work. So sorting is going to work based on alphabetical order. In case alphabetical order, but for numbers, it will go ascending order. So if we have numbers inside the list, it will go to the ascending order. We know what is the meaning of ascending, right? It will start from the smaller value, it will go up to the larger. Here it will go into the alphabet wise. So the sort is going to sort your elements. So we know what is the shortest element is A. A is coming, then after that B, then C, then E, and then X, right? So I think all the element except B has the correct position earlier. Now let's go for a nested list, that how we can make a list inside another list. Okay. Let's say we have 3 lists, list 1, list 2, list 3, where we have the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9 respectively. Let's say we want to mix it together and put it into the list again. So this is how it looked like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Getting it? This is how we can make the matrix, a sort of thing, right? It look like a list, but is actually a matrix because they're a combination of the list. This is first list, this is the second list, and this is the third list. How we can do indexing? Indexing we'll do just like a row and column wise, like in the matrix that we do the indexing. Let's say I want to print 5. So what we have to do? We have to do 1 and 1. Yes, yes. Now it is working. Yeah, all of you. So pay attention here. This indexing inside this nested list is going to work like this. So first one is looking for the element in the matrix. So let's say this particular one is going to find it out this list. So we have 4, 5, 6 as our output, and after that, this particular one is going to print inside that. So what is inside that? The first indexing element is 5. If we'll do it 0, so it will going to print 4, right? If we'll going to do 0, so it will print 1, right? So in that way it is going to work. Yeah. So that is your nested list, and this is how we can retrieve or we can do indexing inside the nested list. We have to make 2 squares. Okay, great.